Hey, and today we're here with the lovely Aydan. Is that right, Rick? Is that right? I got two with me.
It's actually Aydannation, but we love him.
All right.
We love him.
All right. So I'm gonna just go through the format of the podcast. So I'm gonna play you 4 songs off my album. Mm-hmm. After each song, we have a conversation. We take a drink. We got some trivia questions.
Oh, I had started already, but
we
can continue drinking.
Yeah, we can continue drinking.
You can start and then continue.
I see how you peer pressure me into drinking. Just sit down there, right? It's always be the red with me. Don't worry though, red woman is a mentality, not skin color.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so before we start any of the music or anything, to people that don't know who you are or don't know who you podcast or who you do, like just talk to them, tell them, you know.
You had said you was gonna ask me questions. I didn't know I had to tell this.
To talk to people. There's a conversational format, you know, just chilling.
Alright. Hi, my name is Aydannation. Mm-hmm. I have my own podcast. Well, kind of on Anchor and on WhatsApp, on YouTube as well. Mm-hmm. So it's called Time to Vent. Mm-hmm. And it's basically me talking to myself in different voices sometimes. Every time I say so, you go, or
yeah.
Okay.
That's just my thing.
So it's basically me venting about anything that bothers me, because I had started it because people have like a lot of things to say and they don't want to talk about it because you always got something to say. And I used to do videos, like funny videos, and one was posted on White Collar Crime, and a whole set of people literally was like, she always talking, and none of these people follow me. And I was like, how you know I always talking if you don't follow me? Like, how you know? So then I was like, wait, everybody saying I always talking and I should start speaking then. And I was like, well, let me just start the podcast. So it's always starting to say, so you know, it's got something to say. Shots fired.
Bad girl things.
And from there I started the podcast. I grew really close to a guy named Kimar. He has his own podcast as well, Taught the Things, and he's my teammate. So anything that I do that I think is like major, I message or call him and he's just like, yes ma'am. So you have to be there, Kimar, because this and this and this. I have so many stuff planned for next year,
2020.
That I want to be doing. We're gonna be dealing with mental health for males.
Oh wow.
And I advocate for males a lot because of my brother, because when he had gotten like to the age where he was dealing with girls and stuff, he would come to me and talk to me about it, ask me for advice and stuff, and like him talking to me, like, you know, like trying to explain his feelings, and even like with just friends, I realized that it's real hard for men to kind of like be vulnerable.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I realized that, I was like, women got an advantage that we could be emotional, even if somebody was like, oh, she got her period, left she, even though that might not necessarily be true, and I hate to hear that statement. Women could talk and express themselves and freak out, and it's just like, oh, she's a woman, that's fine.
It's the way the society is built, like how we socialize too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like growing up in any block or hanging with anybody, anywhere, any walk of life, and you're a male. And you got problems. I said, nice solving, man. Drink a drink, boy.
Right, and
feelings.
That's unfair. I feel like that's so. When he had come to me, I opened up my eyes, because I was one of the people who had told myself a man should and a man should not, and I realized how ignorant I was. And like from talking to him, and then I get closer to other males, and I realized like a lot of men in Barbados and other places, but I live in Barbados, so talking about that, depressed.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess depression, to me, my thing about depression is one that kind of deals with it himself. I say kind of because I feel like I'm in a post-state now where it's like more manageable, and it hit me as hard as it would before.
Right, which is, but you openly discuss it.
It came with self-reflection. So my music has a lot about that. But again, a lot of guys don't have the benefit of having like a creative outlet to put that in, whether it be a poetry or a song or a friend. But
you know, the issue with depression is that, because even I do it, people only talk about overcoming it when they overcome it. They don't talk about it when they're going through it.
It's true.
And that's my thing. Why, when males and females have a issue, they don't speak about it while they're going through it? Why it is always be, I used to feel like this. What, like, why the shame in it? You only feel like, what's the word I want? You only feel triumphant when you went through it, but not when you're going through something. It could be either or. You could feel every day is a step. You get what I'm saying? We just only discuss the fact that when my heart was broken, I get so small because I couldn't eat. Only when you move on, I find a better man. So in the past, I was so hurt that I wasn't this, but you come and save me. But when we going through it, nobody speaks about it, and that's why everybody does feel alone. That's why everybody does run.
But don't you think that's how the kind of the society works though? Like, how do you reach that realization to know, like, well, let me address this when I'm in the hurt? Because I guess whether it be media or whether it be your own parents or whether it be friends, most people only will tell you about something after the fact. You know what I mean? Like, I have a close personal friend of mine, like, one of his, like, his parents passed, and we did not know that until like 2 months afterwards. So married, like, something like that. 3 months afterwards, we didn't know. It was just like, yo, like, I didn't really see mom's around. It was like, oh well, my mom passed, and it's like, but again, how do you have that conversation with your friends? I understood why he wouldn't want to tell us, or like, you know what I mean? Because it's like,
we thought
Kurt's still fresh.
Going
just
through that
like,
by himself.
that's what I was trying to say. You know what I mean? Like, I would have loved to have been there to like, yo, though, you okay? Like,
and the fact that he hit it so well is worrying as well.
Yeah,
like,
sure. But I mean, I guess everyone has something that they're going through in life, you know?
I disagree.
You don't think so?
Nope.
I'd say everybody.
I honestly think that I got some people that got the shiniest gold spoon ever and literally has nothing to worry about. And I feel like I got people that have everything to be worried about. I don't think it's equal. I think
it's a scale, because to me, my problems will always be bigger than yours. But unless you are one of those people that remove yourself from yourself and look at things objectively. But generally, I started to realize as I get older, not a lot of people do that. There's a lot of self-interest.
I do that, and I think it's a bad habit, because then, like, in my head, my problems is always trim other people's. Even with my close friends, not shading or anything like that, but I will have a million things that I will want to talk about, even if it would be petty or whatever. It's just even about my day, it was bad. But then they would come and they would talk, and I'd be like, you know what? They're going through enough. Yeah. You don't need to vent about it. Just get over it. To then the point where I just completely erupts into tears or anger or something, and then it's like, you can't do that, and it's just be like this cycle.
I think what happens is you gotta create like everyone needs to have that friend where you could just be like, yo, this is my day, take all my shit. I understand, and they kind of just help you siphon through it. Yeah. And then you got some friends that just have like lighthearted conversation, because I think it's a balance. You can't always have friends that you talk about like deep stuff with.
Yeah, me and Damar was talking about that earlier. We were saying like, you gotta know who's your party friends, and you gotta know who's you real life, close to heart friends. You have people. Even I now learning the difference between that with people that I thought I was close with and people that I should have just known. Yeah,
I mean, writing this album kind of like made me realize a lot of different things. So they got people that you can work with. They got some people you can do business with. They got some people you can have friendship with. They got some
don't get me started on friendship and business.
But it's just like, we got stories with that.
Don't get me started about friendship.
You're gonna get let's cut people up. Money get
all the shit. All the
long boy. That's a long story there, but Johnny will tell you about that there.
All the shit.
But yeah. It's just happening. Business is happening. People's make mistakes. I think we forget that people are human beings. And any day, like, their problems kind of trump yours in their perspective.
But there are naturally selfish people that do not understand.
All human beings are naturally selfish, though. Like, to quote Shakespeare, like, I feel like just how people talk about love is fickle. Like, that was a Shakespearean line from the.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, love is fickle. I think love is people. I think people are fickle. I think people would like to present themselves as, I'm here in good faith and self-interest. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's all boiled down to who we are. When you're depressed and you talk to somebody, you don't talk to them because you want to find out what it is you're trying to get signed off, and you're trying to talk. I think most people don't think about it. It's a subconscious thought. It's like innate human behavior.
I don't know if I agree or disagree. Because I come in from a point of view of me and who I surround myself with. And maybe I'm being naive, but I think it's genuine. I could be wrong.
No, I mean, I think your close personal circle, of course, yeah, it should be like that. But I mean, in terms of like, I don't expect that from everybody. I guess that's the best way to
I used to think that everybody would be genuine towards me, and boy, did I learn. Yeah. I learned. I definitely learned that. And it sounds so silly to say so, because it's something that you should automatically know that everybody's not like you. But I always thought that if I being nice to you, then that means that you will be nice to me.
Yeah, that was a problem I struggled with a lot.
Yeah.
When I was younger too, like trying to decipher like who really feel and who really not. You know what I mean? Like you just hear people sing about it in music or talk about it in books or whatever, but until you go through it for yourself, you never really know. You know?
I was so naive. I didn't even know what the word mean. The first time somebody told me so I had to Google it. I was like, you so naive, Aydan. And I was like, what?
Marlika.
And what?
Marlika,
and I Googled it, I spell it wrong.
Yeah. Like, nah, on camera talk. Yeah. Before we go any further, just introduce the people off camera too. You got Ajani, you got Dre across there, you got Damarni back with the cap on, you got Julian there on the phone, judging us slowly, but surely, but quietly, you know. But yeah, so you say that's what you started doing your podcast, is to have a place where you could vent frequently, a place where you could, like a safe space.
Yeah, my own thing.
So your followership, you feel like what you're gonna do to grow it, or is more like whoever come to me come, or is like what's your goal for the podcast per se?
Okay, I study radio and television broadcasting, so it's a passion to be on Slam 101.
Hey.
So I started it also to get exposure.
Okay.
So in my mind, somebody can listen to my podcast and be like, it's gonna need to be on the radio. Even if, yes, I went to the school and I study and graduate, but also exposure is the best thing when it comes to jobs. You could be a garbage truck driver experience. So in my head it played out that somebody listened to it, like my personality, because I try my best to be my genuine self on the podcast. So they will listen to it, and I started also to gain exposure because I used to talk about mental health on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, especially Twitter. So it's not like I genuinely just started it because of that, but I use it as a forum as well. So the podcast was also started to get exposure, and because I realized that the radio industry is based on friendship and I don't have any friends in the radio industry, I was like, well, maybe I could gain something from it. I always used to love hosting. I always used to love interviewing people, and I love customer service, as crazy as it sounds. I like talking to people and getting to know them, and I'm good at it. So I always said, if from 20 minutes of listening to me talk could get me someplace,
why not?
Exactly, why not do
Shoot
it?
shot.
So that was another reason I had chosen a name, because I didn't want to name it Political Talk and then I vent off talking about relationships. But I don't know politics, so I was like, let me find something or somebody that I was actually dating at the time. It's so funny. Was like, you sound like you venting, and I was like, time to vent then. And I had a moment, and I was like, oh, time to vent.
So that's where you. That's where you. Fair enough. I just had to ask.
Thank you, Sivers.
Hey man. All right. So you got the download. I can just jump right to it. I'm gonna show you 12 songs. Yeah, 12.
So I get to choose.
You gotta pick the song based on the name only.
Okay. Silver Lining. This was the name of my first episode. Yeah.
So don't call me till it comes through. I love myself more than you.
Sitting in this 4x4 thinking, will I make it till tomorrow? My problems sitting in as this liquor fades often. What's God to a sinner when the devil's more constant? Somehow his calls always end up missing, but my voicemail's clogging. At times when I'm alone and the message is popping at the depths of my depression. Clearing out my inbox, I pour myself a shot and take a listen. Shit. Yo, daddy never loved you. He put side pieces in front that family that he built. And you ain't shit either, addicted to the same vices. Just one drop of blood, I'll provide the perfect weather for this vanity affair of yours. And don't you want money? Just one slow wine and you end up being putty. I got connections in low faces and ain't it funny? I broke 'em much stronger than you.